I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22, and today we're going to be discussing the Arsenal-Manchester United game where the Premier League kickstarts for Arsenal's campaign away at Old Trafford on Sunday. Apologies in the background if you can hear my little desk fan. Basically, in the UK right now, it is so hot, so I can't help it. I've got to have a bit of fan air coming in and cooling me down, because otherwise I would not be able to record this video in this room. But without further ado, today we're going to be discussing the 3 things that to expect from Arsenal in the opening day against Manchester United. Thank you so much for the support on the channel recently. It's been really appreciated. I really liked how much you guys looked into that tactics video that I did on Arteta's Arsenal and how we have changed seemingly over the pre-season. This video does, of course, link slightly to that video because obviously there are tactics that I think that will be displayed in our opening day versus Manchester United, such as verticality, that we've seen in pre-season. So it's just something to look out for. But if you do enjoy this and want to see more Arsenal-related content from me, then please, obviously, be sure to like and subscribe. But without further ado, we're going to get into it. And the first thing to look out for and main talking point is Zubimendi. He hasn't been present in media day. The club released all the media photographs today where they all pose with like flags and stuff with the Arsenal wall behind them, and Zubimendi wasn't present. There are rumours saying that he's gone back to Spain temporarily, whether that be for a family reason or it's just part of the move-in process. Alternatively, there's also rumours stating that he might be unwell. I am worried about this because he is certainly a massive part to the team and he was absolutely phenomenal in that final pre-season game. The way he interchanged with Rice was absolutely key, and it's something that Arsenal will build upon this season. Not only that, he does offer that ball progression that's needed to allow the midfield to progress further up the pitch, and his through balls, both long over the top and diagonal balls, were absolute a joy to behold. As well as that, he was very good at reading play and getting involved, getting tackles and winning his 50-50 duels. So hopefully the little Spaniard is present and not unwell and he's back. But it remains to be seen if he's been involved in the training leading up to the game. I think that he is so important, if he is playing, to look at the interchanges between Rice and Zubimendi. I think that will be key. And the verticality that Zubimendi does offer when he's playing for Arsenal Football Club, especially in the pre-season, will be massive to watch. If you watch Arsenal this weekend and Zubimendi is in the team, be sure to see the verticality that he does offer, breaking the passes through the lines, allowing Ødegaard to be playing further up or interchanging with Declan Rice on a pivot, going back and forth, so Zubimendi can advance and so Rice can drop back, and having that Noble to use that connection within the midfield, I think that will be key to any result we have at Old Trafford. In the instance that Zubimendi isn't available, I reckon we might look at Norgard coming into the fold. He's more of that number 6 position, like Zubimendi, and has the similar qualities. If we were to play Merino, I think we then sort of hamstring Declan Rice a little bit, because Declan Rice would then have to sit back a bit more into the 6th position, whereas Declan Rice's quality is bringing the ball forward with his long strides. So, yeah, Zubimendi's the first thing to look out for in this game against United. I think the second talking point before the game will be the striker situation. Arsenal have got 2 very good strikers that are fit at the moment in Kai Havertz and Gyökeres, both getting on the scoring sheet in the pre-season game. Both are very powerful runners. Kai has certainly built out both in power and strength and also pace, and you saw that in his goal that he took very well on the counter-attack. Showed his turn of pace very well from his own area, basically, to stride through the middle of the park and gain the advantage before slotting home in the right-hand side with a great finish. Both strikers offer that sort of power and pace. Obviously, you could argue that Kai's better technically and better at holding the ball up into playing with the wingers, whereas Gyökeres is that power, I'm going to kill your grandma for a goal sort of striker. Both have their qualities, both have a place in the team. They might even play together. I very much doubt that on the opening day. I believe that Kai will start the game. It has to be said. I think he is going to be the player to start today. But that said, I do think that Gyökeres will come into the fold very shortly. They're both absolutely terrific players, both direct runners, and you can do a lot worse than both of them. It will be remains to be seen how they're both used throughout the season. But my thoughts are Kai will start. The only thing that might stop Kai starting is the recent knock that he has picked up for Arsenal. Now, if you look at the third point going into the Man United game of something that needs to be discussed is Martin Odegaard. Tony Adams has recently come out and slated Martin Odegaard's captaincy, and I actually think it was quite disrespectful to the Norwegian. At the end of the day, he came when Arsenal were at the lowest and wanted to settled and showed an impact. He was absolutely phenomenal for his first 2 of his 3 seasons, and last season, sure, he had a down year, but there's lots of mitigating factors. He suffered an injury, his teammates weren't in the team, and Odegaard is someone who thrives when you have to put him in a position where he can then find a runner in behind. You've seen his famous through ball to Martinelli from the half where it killed into his path, or even in the pre-season game, he played a through ball to Martinelli, who played it off to Saka, and looked very, very good. Not only that, in the final third, he usually can strike the ball quite well in terms of that in-the-box cutback finish into the bottom-hand corner. And that is something that we didn't see last season. And yes, that is a worry, but if you look at Zubimendi and how he was playing in pre-season, it meant that Odegaard could progress further up the pitch and settle between the pockets, which is where he thrives because of his close-knit dribbling. Now, for me, I think Odegaard will be back to his best this season. He's going to be platformed to be so. If you looked at last season, I think because of Thomas Partey's ever-growing immobility, it meant that Odegaard had to come further deeper to get the ball to then progress it, because if you look at him, he's in the 99th percentile of progressive carries and passes, and the reason for that is he was Arsenal's man to get them up the pitch. That wasn't his role the season prior, that wasn't his role later this season, shouldn't be his role, this season. You'd imagine that Odegaard should be the one who's receiving those progressive passes in areas where he can pick a pocket and interchange with either Saka, Ben White, or alternatively playing the striker. I would equally like him to play in a more central role, because I think that would unlock Martinelli a little bit more, support him a little bit more. And Martinelli's key gift is his running ability, maybe off the ball runs and his pace in behind to effect in transition. Now, if Odegaard is played on his side, he can then slip in passes to Martinelli a little bit more than he does at current. I believe it's going to be a big season for Odegaard. I believe he's going to have a good game against Manchester United. I believe he's going to be back to his best. But if it comes a point where Zubimendi and say Norgard get injured, then you might have to look at Odegaard playing deeper again, and that is not what any Arsenal fan wants, because at the end of the day, he wasn't good enough by his own standards and own admission last season. But equally, he's someone who keeps his head down. He dictates the press, he's a role model on and off the pitch, and he supports all the youngsters at the club. So from a captain standpoint, I genuinely don't think you can ask for much more. And that is an issue with Tony Adams stating it very publicly. I think it's also knocking his confidence prior to a season, which isn't something that you should do as an Arsenal role model. But whatever, we can't comment on that further anyway. We will just remain to be seen what Odegaard does this season, but I think definitely watch out for what he does on the ball. If he gives away a ball a few times, that's not necessarily the worst thing. He's a creator, he's in the positions to create. Naturally, he's meant to play riskier balls. If he gives away a ball on a risky pass, then that happens. That's the type of player he is. He's just got to try and pick the pocket, and I hope you do agree. So there are the 3 things that I would take away from looking out for the Manchester United game in the Premier League at the opening game. I hope you have enjoyed. Please be sure, as I said before, to like and subscribe. But what could United offer us different? There's many things that United have got. They've got a load of new attackers, Cunha and Mbeumo, Sesko, who Arsenal wanted. They look like they can sort of rotate and interchange as and when, and I think that they might outnumber us in midfield. So it's going to be key that we win our duels in that area, because if they're playing that 3-5-2 or whatever they want to play, they're probably going to have 4 people in those midfield areas. It looks like they're going to be playing quite a narrow formation as well, which means that we can get down them at the wide areas. But the thing that Arsenal excel at is letting players, obviously attacking down the wide areas, but letting teams attack down the wide areas so we can cancel it out. If a team attacks us centrally, sometimes that can cause issues for us being overrun in midfield. And Zubimendi, it'll be a big test, because Zubimendi doesn't necessarily have the legs to deal with it. We don't know what he's like in terms of transition pace yet. There was rumours that he was quite poor at that at Sociedad, but it remains to be seen how he fits in the system, how Arteta deals with it, if we can dominate the game. I would imagine we're going to dominate possession. I don't know if we're going to get a result, but usually we seem to do that against United, because they like to play on the transition, and with the pace of Sesko and Mbeumo and Cunha, more so Sesko and Mbeumo, but that is certainly a risk for Arsenal to be affected. But Remains to be seen. I hope we do get a result, obviously. I hope we do win the game against Manchester United, but it remains to be seen. I hope you have enjoyed. Please let me know what you're looking out for the opening day of the season. And yeah, please be sure to like and subscribe. Goodbye.